Yeah, what up, folks? You back at again with another video by DJ Mobile Auto Services. So we got a 2016 Nissan Note, right? This got the HR12 engine. Customer mileage is what, like, let's say 80 kilometers, which ain't much, right? Basically, customer said that the vehicle is like acting up, losing power while they're driving, and they took it to our next shop, and I believe they replaced the spark plugs or the coil packs or something like that, and the problem is still there. So they asked if I can check it out for them, right? So they brought it to my shop to see if I could narrow it down for them, let them know what to do, right? If it's something drastic or it's not, right? So what they noticed was the auto start light keep flashing in and out, right? So they wasn't sure what it is. So they took it to a shop close by, and the shop said it's the plugs. So they replaced the plugs, and the vehicle is still acting up still. So the next thing I believe they went and was about to do, or did, I'm not sure, they replaced the coils. The coils are right in my hands right here. So they replace the coils, or they're going to replace the coils, but I know they replace the plugs. So you gotta ask yourself, what could cause a misfire. So what I'm gonna do first, I'm gonna verify the code, right? I'm gonna press diagnose. I have my scan tool hooked on to the vehicle already. I'm getting a P0302 cylinder misfire, right? So we gotta ask ourselves, what can cause a misfire? Is it the coil, the plug? Well, it can't be the plug. They replaced the plug. Right, the plugs, sorry. What else could cause it? Compression, injector. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna come out there and we probably will do let's go to live data and see if we have misfire count or something like that. If we have that, that'll be nice, because it kind of narrowed down and let me know that it is number 2. Well, I could just hook up my tools real quick and definitely make sure that's number 2 has the issue. Well, let's see what this have. Yeah, let me see if this have any like miscounter. I'm not seeing anything. Right, so this don't have it. So what I'm gonna do next, I want to look at fuel trims. Fuel trims could help me, yes. Timing could definitely help me. Alright, let's come out of here. Alright, what else could help me right now? So I'm getting a P0302 code. Do this have any? No. Let's see if this have any freeze frame. Read the codes. Read freeze frame. So let's see when it happens. Calculated load at 62, so they're definitely stepping on the X when they're warming up. Fuel trims are low. Speed of engine is 1500, so they definitely they were driving at 30 kilometers per hour, right? What else can I see? So they was driving, right, when this code act up. So what we're gonna do next is let's come out of here, right? We can do an active test. Well, I wonder what they got on the active test. Do they have could they kill the coils or something like that? We could do a power balance. Let's do that. Alright, so let's start the vehicle up. Matter of fact, let me start the vehicle up and show you how it sounds, and then that will be able to help us too. So the check light is on, as you can see. Alright, I'm gonna just wind it fast down. Alright, so as the customer said, the auto light is flashing, the check light is on, so that and this is off. So we gotta ask ourselves, why is it flashing? So what I like to do is go to the muffler, listen to how it sounds. Right, so it definitely sounds like a misfire. Alright, the next thing I want to do is pop the hood. Oh man, this is a really small engine. And it got a mechanical pump, so most likely this is a supercharged one. Alright, so this is the E12, the K23G MR12 DD, which is the direct injection one. Right, so what could cause misfire? Injector, compression, you name it, right? So what I'm gonna do first, can I get to the coils easy? Yep, it don't really have the manifold on top. I can do a relative compression test. How can I kill this pump there? So probably because of the lack of the voltage that's going to the coils, I guess, I'm not sure. I don't know why the auto light is flashing. As you can see, it's right there. Alright, so let's do a power balance test, right? And see if we can cut number 1. Alright, the vehicle shuts off. Let's start right back up. What is this, a 3-cylinder or something? We're gonna cut number 2. We cut number 2 and nothing happened. RPM sped up a little bit, but that's it. Let's go number 3. So when I kill number 3 and number 1, the vehicle shut off. When I kill number 2, nothing happened. Alright, let's try. Is this a 4-cylinder? I'm not sure if this is a 4 or 3. I'm not sure. So let's come. Yeah, this actually the same thing on number 4. Alright, hold on. Let's check to see if this is a 3 or 4-cylinder engine. This is the 3-cylinder engine, right? A very small engine, compact, right? So, and also it's low on power. The issue with, if it's 3-cylinder and you have an issue with 1, you know what's happening. So basically you're running on 2-cylinder. What can I do? I can go into special function, right? And I can check for, let's see, what can I do here? Misfire count, right? Real time. Let's look at it. So right now I'm getting 500 on it's kind of starting me. I got 500 on cylinder number 2, where number 1 and number 3 have nothing. Ignore cylinder number 4. This is a 3-cylinder engine. This one you have 3 cylinders, not 4. Yeah, so this does sound like this vehicle have a misfire. So I'm no doubt there's gonna be what it is, cylinder number 2, right? But what we gotta do is any misfire that I get, first thing I do is check for compression. I always check for compression on a misfire, because you can throw plugs, you can throw coils, injectors, you can do whatever you want. If you have compression issues, matter of fact, let me just take this off real quick. If you have compression issues, it doesn't matter what you do with this vehicle. You can, fix all the wires, the harness, go after ECU. If you have compression issue, that's it. Stop. Don't go no further. Alright. So I'm not sure if this vehicle has flood mode where I could step on the gas and see if it would no, this got started up. So I gotta find a way to kill the power in order to get the car not to start. What I can do is probably, kill the plugs. Yeah, I can do that. Right. As I said, they replaced the plugs. They was about to replace the coils, but I'm not sure what happened there. So I'm going to do a relative compression test. I'm gonna bring up scope real quick and just pull it up and just verify number 2 has the issue. So anytime I get a dead miss on a cylinder, right, especially like if they replace coils or spark plug or even injectors, I tend to, before I do any of these things, well, I would do a relative compression test, which would be like real quick, just to get a kind of glimpse on what's going on internally. Yes, I can go in cylinder and stuff like that, but that's kind of overkill right now. I just need to know that everything mechanically is working in this vehicle first before I continue going after circuits and injectors and things like that, right? Seeing that this vehicle is GDI, it has a mechanical pump on the rail, on the head, sorry, that boosts the pressure to the engine. I can use the pressure sensor and do a fuel injector balance test, right, to see if injector has an issue. I can do that. What else can I do? We can also do it could be I mean, I have saw it where injector is staying open too long and causing the like cylinder wash. So what I can do is pull the dipstick and see if I'm like smelling any kind of gas in that engine first before we condemn it. I can do that. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna pull that dipstick and take a little smell of that dipstick and see if I'm smelling any gas, because it could be a fuel injector that could be leaking and dumping fluid into the engine and causing the basically cylinder wash, where the combustion, the compression is not doing what it's supposed to do. What else can I check for? Can I scope the injector? I'm not sure if I can, based on how this engine is set up. Right? I'm just thinking out loud. You just excuse me. I'm just thinking out loud. This is live. I'm doing it live. I'm thinking out loud. So next thing I can do is, matter of fact, let me hook up my scope real quick, do a relative compression test, and that should kind of give me some kind of guidance on my next move, what I'm seeing. So let's set it up. Alright, so let's see. So like I said, someone was here before, because I'm seeing 3 fresh coils in place. Right, this is a supercharged Nissan Note. So they replaced the coils, they replaced the spark plugs, and it's still getting misfire, right? So what I'm gonna do is just do a RC test. I want to kill the coil. Yes, fuel will go down in the cylinder a little bit, but I'm just gonna do a quick check to just see what's if it's lacking compression, and once it is, that's it. There's nothing else to do. I could probably sync on number 2. I can do that. But if it lacks compression, it lacks compression. That's it. So let me just hook up my scope real quick and verify this, and we'll probably do follow it up with a manual compression. It's getting late, so I'm just gonna do a quick test and probably verify the rest in the morning, right? But I said again, a P0302 code, and I said they throw parts already at it, so I'm trying not to do the same, which I'm not. I'm not. So yeah, let's do our checks. So I'm using the H scope, right? It's the HS502, right? It works with any Android, whether it be a phone, tablet, it doesn't matter, right? So first thing I like to do is hook up to battery positive and negative to make sure I'm reading the voltage properly, right? And make sure that my scope is working, right? I disabled the coils, right? All I did was just unplug it. It's easy to get. It's not the one that's on the manifold. So I just disconnect all the coils. There's 3 coils, right? So I'm gonna go on the automotive bit, right? First time you hook up, when you download the demo, you only have access to 1 channel, right? But the next one will be off. But because I purchased the automotive, you gotta purchase the regular one and the automotive one. It comes to like 24 US or something like that, right? You get access to the both channels. So right now I can have the both channels working, and you see that's power on, right? So I can switch. I can put on this channel also, which is number the 2nd channel, because I have the full version, right? So I'm gonna switch off because I only got 1 channel. I don't need both of them, right? And so as I said, when you get the demo, when you download from Google Play, from Google Store, right, or you get access to the demo, then you gotta buy the license, right? And you buy the license when you purchase the scope. Whatever scope you purchase, you get access to that. It automatically connect. You see it's reading HS502 reading, so it automatically detects that I'm hooked on to the my tablet. Then I'm gonna go into the automotive section. So if I go in the automotive section, I can get access to, you just have to press record, and then I could go and crank, right? So right now I'm gonna do, as I said, I'm gonna do a relative compression test. I got it on ×1, right? You gotta download, like, you gotta go into settings and download the probes that you're using, right? There's all the presets, I guess, right? I'm still getting familiar with it. I'm not sure, I'm not 200 with it as yet, but I'm getting there. I just gotta keep practicing. I can put on channel 2. I don't need it right now, and it also has the math channel, like you can do different things with it. You know, you also have the overlay. It also have the overlay picture here. What else does it have? You can put labels on it if you want. You have the cursors, right? You can put 1 or 2 cursor. You can add another one, right? You just gotta slide on. This gloves is on. What else you can do? You can zoom in. If you want, you can zoom. Yeah, that's, and it's a really cool. You can do, like, if I'm doing a relative compression test, I can set my firing order. So this firing order is 1342. In order to use this, I gotta set up a sync to know, what firing order is what. So let me, as I said, set it up so I can do a relative compression test. And yeah, one thing I like about the scope is, say for instance, I don't have a wiring diagram on me, right? This is a 3-pin coil, right? It carries a ground signal and a power, right? A 12 volts, right? So what I'm gonna do is, this scope has the ability to, work as a multimeter also, right? Where you can, what I like to do, let's check, right? I'm getting 12 volts right there. I'm straight off the battery. So you can use this also as a multimeter, right? Just go into the, you gotta make sure you set it up first though, right? If you set it too low, then it's gonna, like, read what So say for instance I put plus or minus 1.7. All I'm gonna see the highest is 1.7, 1.6 right here. So you gotta make sure you open up the range where you gotta have an idea what you're scoping. So if, say for instance, I'm scoping a 5-volt signal, I'm not gonna set it to 1.7. I'm gonna open it up a little bit more, probably plus or minus 8 or even 16 volts. But that's you gotta make sure press the settings and set that up before you just start the probe, right? So right now I'm on channel 2. You're gonna switch the channel like this. Right, I'm on channel 2. You see just now I switched to channel 1, but remember I still got my channel 1 hooked on to AC, so that's why you're seeing the numbers going back and forth like that, right? And the engine is off. So, but the key is on, engine off, right? So I switch to channel 2. I'm just gonna verify what I'm seeing here, 12 volts, right? And I'm just gonna back probe this number 1 connector so I can get a signal while I'm doing a relative compression test. Right, so since I got that hooked up, right, plus or minus 16, that's kind of high. I'm going to go lower because I expected to see a 5-volt kick on that signal wire. I shouldn't see any more than 5 volts on that middle wire, the middle pin. So this is a 3-coil engine. So I believe if I unplug all the coil packs, the car won't start. But the problem is, I won't get any feedback from the ECU to send a trigger to the coil. So what I have to do is, I believe what I'm going to do is, I'm going to plug back in number 2, because that seemed like that's the dead cylinder anyway. So I'm going to kind of trick the ECU to believe that a coil is plugged in and let it fire, and or I can unplug one of the coils and send it out with my spark tester. I can do that. Yeah, I can definitely do that, right? So at least the ECU will believe that, yo, hey, we got a coil here, so fire. So I think I'm gonna do that. All right, so let me get my spark tester, hook it up. Do I have one of these Handtech leads? I don't need it. I just need a signal, right? So as I said, I'm gonna get my spark tester, hook it up so we can do this relative compression test. All right, so I got my spark tester hooked up. Right, I'm just using it as a dummy because I need a signal off the coil. And I got my hooked onto battery. I got channel 1 hooked onto battery, on my battery, positive and negative. I'm gonna invert this probe. Right, you gotta hit the invert right here. I'm gonna do an AC couple, right? 8 to plus. It doesn't matter really on the voltage. My rate is at 150, right? Channel 2, I got it synced to number 1 coil. As I said, the firing order is 132 on this engine. So I disabled all the other coils, so this vehicle is not supposed to start. Let's press record real quick and let's go and start the vehicle. We're just gonna step on the X, crank it for a bit, and then press pause. Alright, that's all we need. We just need some, some direction on this. Alright, let's see what's good. Alright, so the red is the channel 2, and red is channel 2, and matter of fact, let's save this first. Alright, so we're gonna save this in my photos. Oh man, they're asking for an account. Where can I save this? Probably could save it on a drive somewhere. I'm gonna save it on my drive real quick. Alright, so it's there. Alright, so what I'm gonna explain here is how I interpret this waveform, right? So we can take the key off, because we got a good capture. Take the key off, ignition off. I'm gonna just close the door so it will stop making noise. So the first thing you're gonna do after you done hook up your scope, right? What you're gonna do is make sure you know the firing order, right? It's a 3-cylinder. The firing order is 1, 2, 3 in this vehicle, on this vehicle, right? So you gotta make sure that you know your firing order, as you may take capture and then you see something that's is not, and you know better, and then you start to second guess yourself. So as I said, make sure you Google, look on Mitchell, make all data. I don't know what you use, but make sure you know your firing order before you do this kind of testing, right? So as I said, on this car, which is the MR12DDR, the firing order is 1, 2, 3. So we're gonna press record on the scope. We're gonna go in the vehicle. I'm just gonna crank the vehicle over. I'm stepping on the Alright, so when I did that test, I made sure and depress the gas when I'm doing a compression test. Reason why I do that is I want to make sure that the sufficient air is coming through the throttle. I want to make sure like the engine get a big gulp of air so he can do work. When the plate is closed, you can't move the air, and this don't have clear flood, so I'm making sure that I'm stepping on the X, that enough air is coming into the engine, right? So let's see what I get. That's too short, so let's increase the time, I guess. Alright, so let's go back in the vehicle. I'm gonna press record, and I'm gonna go in the vehicle and step on the X while I'm cranking. Alright, we're gonna switch it off. We're gonna go and press stop on our capture, and let's analyze this waveform. Alright, so we're gonna take a picture of this real quick so we can save it in our folder. Alright, so I'm gonna save this on my drive because I haven't set up my pictures, my folders yet. Alright, so let me analyze this live with you, and so you can see what I see. So the red trace is the signal on number 1 coil, right? And the blue trace is the relative compression of the battery, right? So every time the starter use or exert energy, he will increase his the amperage, right? So that's why you see this big spike. So this, you call this the inrush current, right? So the starter use a lot of energy to, you know, to spin the flywheel. So that's why he, you know, you get a high rush, you know, from start, but then after he settles down, right? But then the red spike is, as I said, is the signal from the number one coil. So what we're going to do here, you see these humps, is every time the piston comes up to the top dead center, hitting every, but then you notice you get a low one, right? So let's see if that's number 2. I'm going to pull on my rulers real quick. Fire note is, hold on real quick, let's switch this up. I'll say, excuse me, I'm still, you know, getting used to this scope. Alright, so we just gonna bring our rulers, put it on from peak to peak. Matter of fact, let's open this up a little bit. So every time you see that number 1, that red spike, that's number 1 coming up. Let's open this a little bit more. I'm still getting used to this, trust me. And then I'm trying to do this with gloves on. Right, I believe I got it there. Right, so every time you see this red spike, right, that's number 1 being fired. Firing out is 1, 2, 3, and back to 1. So every time you keep seeing that over and over. Right, if you notice now, I'm getting a hump on number 1, no hump on number 2, a hump on number 3, back to number 1, and keep going like that. So this waveform is letting me know that there's a dead hole in number 2. Why? I'm not sure. It could be going through the exhaust valves, the intake valves, the piston rings. Do I want to go deep in? Yeah, so what I'm basically going to tell the client, hey, you got low compression in number 2. That's why you're getting the misfire. So I don't care if you was going through plugs, coil, injectors, you name it. It could be a ECU. It wasn't going to fix this, right? So I'm going to make a recommendation that I'm going to do a manual compression test first to verify that number 2 compression is that low, and probably squirt some oil on it. If it don't come up, then I'm going to give them an option either to rebuild or have this engine replaced, depending on the parts availability and if you have the time. But if you don't have the time, you're just going to replace this engine, and we're going to call that, you know, a wrap. Right? You could put an overlay right on the compression waveform, right, which is signal, which I did, and you can see where, I'm not sure if where the compression is going, right? So yellow is intake, I believe the orange is compression, the red is combustion, and the brown is exhaust. So right, we're looking for number 2, right? And so right now we're not getting no compression on number 2, when we're supposed to be hitting compression right here, right? So if we're not getting a compression number 2, what could that be? I mean, rings. If rings could cause that, or valves. If one of the valves is like staying open for some reason, but it looks like it's on the compression. You see this yellow area here? Make me wanna figure out where that compression is going. The car is not overheating, so it's not going to the coolant. It had to be going into one of those valves, either or even the rings. Do I feel like going deeper? Let's see. Right, so seeing that this is a 2-channel, I cannot do the compression, figure out where the compression is going right now, because I need to hook up some other probes on. Right, this is just a 2-channel. I need a sync. I got my relative compression, but I need to figure out where it's going. Is it going to the exhaust, or is it going to the intake? or is it going to my dipstick? I forgot to smell this to see if it smells like gas. No, it smells like oil.